Have you ever looked up at the night sky and felt like the moon was so close you could almost touch it? What if I told you that in 2024, you'll have not one, not two, but four chances to see the moon at its biggest and brightest? Welcome to the year of the supermoons. But what exactly is a supermoon, and why should you care? Today, we're diving deep into the celestial phenomenon that's set to light up our skies in 2024. Before we dive into the excitement of 2024's supermoons, let's break down what this phenomenon actually is. Despite its dramatic name, a supermoon isn't a new type of moon or a moon with superpowers. It's simply our regular moon showing off a bit more than usual. Here's the deal. The moon doesn't orbit Earth in a perfect circle. Instead, it follows an elliptical path, which means sometimes it's closer to us, and sometimes it's farther away. When the moon reaches the closest point to Earth in its orbit, called perigee, it appears larger in the sky. Now, if this closest approach happens to coincide with a full moon, bam, we've got ourselves a supermoon. To put it in more technical terms, astronomers call this event a perigee syzygy. Don't worry if you can't pronounce that, most of us can't either. Perigee refers to the closest point in the moon's orbit, while syzygy is the fancy term for when the Earth, Moon, and Sun line up. Interestingly, the term supermoon isn't an official astronomical term. It was coined by an astrologer named Richard Knoll back in 1979. Knoll defined a supermoon as a full moon that occurs when the moon is within 90% of its closest approach to Earth. While astronomers might prefer more technical terms, supermoon has caught on with the public, probably because it sounds so cool. Now that we understand what a supermoon is, let's talk about the exciting lineup we have in store for 2024. Grab your calendars, because you won't want to miss these celestial shows. August 19th, 2024, the Sturgeon Moon, our first supermoon of the year, will occur on August 19 at 2:26 p.m. Known as the Sturgeon Moon, this supermoon will be about 224,917 miles, 361,970 kilometers from Earth. While it might not be the closest supermoon of the year, it's sure to be a stunning sight as it kicks off our supermoon season. September 17th, 2024, the Harvest Moon, just a month later, on September 17 at 10:34 p.m. We'll be treated to the Harvest Moon supermoon. This one will be even closer, at about 222,131 miles, 357,486 kilometers from Earth. The Harvest Moon is traditionally associated with the start of the harvest season, making this supermoon a celestial celebration of autumn's arrival. October 17, 2024, the Hunter's Moon. This is the big one. The Hunter's Moon on October 17 at 7:26 a.m. will be the closest supermoon of 2024 at a distance of just 222,055 miles, 357,364 kilometers from Earth. This supermoon is likely to appear the largest and brightest of the year, making it a must-see event for moon enthusiasts and casual observers alike. November 15, 2024, the Beaver Moon. Rounding out our supermoon quartet is the Beaver Moon on November 15 at 4:29 p.m. at a distance of 224,853 miles, 361,867 kilometers. It's a bit farther than the previous two, but still close enough to qualify as a supermoon. This final supermoon of the year offers a last chance to marvel at the moon's enhanced brightness and size before we bid farewell to the supermoon season of 2024. It's worth noting that having 4 consecutive supermoons is a relatively rare treat. While we typically see 3 or 4 supermoons each year, they don't always occur in such a neat sequence. This makes 2024 a special year for lunar observation. Now that we've marked our calendars, let's delve a little deeper into the science that makes supermoons possible. As we mentioned earlier, the moon's orbit around Earth isn't a perfect circle, it's elliptical. This means that during each 27-day orbit, the moon reaches both its closest point to Earth, perigee, and its farthest point, apogee. On average, the moon is about 238,000 miles, 382,900 kilometers from Earth. But at perigee, it can come as close as 226,000 miles, 363,300 kilometers, while at apogee, it can be as far as 251,000 miles, 405,500 kilometers. That's quite a difference. The reason for this variation lies in the complex gravitational dance between the Earth, Moon, and Sun. As NASA scientist Noah Petro explains, the main reason why the orbit of the Moon is not a perfect circle is that there are a lot of tidal or gravitational forces that are pulling on the Moon. These forces are constantly tugging and pushing on the Moon, causing its orbit to wobble and change slightly over time. But what makes a supermoon super? It's all about timing and perception. When a full moon coincides with perigee, it can appear up to 14% larger and 30% brighter than a full moon at apogee. While this might not sound like much, it can make a noticeable difference to the naked eye, especially when the moon is near the horizon. Speaking of the moon near the horizon, have you ever noticed that the moon seems enormous when it's just rising or setting? This is known as the moon illusion, and interestingly, it has nothing to do with the moon's actual size or distance from Earth. It's all in our heads. The moon illusion is a fascinating quirk of human perception. When the moon is near the horizon, our brains compare it to earthly objects like trees, buildings, or mountains. This comparison makes the moon appear much larger than when it's high in the sky, with nothing to compare it to. Some scientists believe this illusion might be an evolutionary adaptation. Our ancestors might have developed this perceptual trick to help them notice and pay attention to important things on the horizon, like potential predators or food sources. During a supermoon, this illusion can be even more pronounced, making for a truly spectacular view. So, if you want to get the most impressive view of a supermoon, try to catch it just as it's rising or setting. Find a spot with an unobstructed view of the horizon and prepare to be amazed. While supermoons are primarily known for their visual impact, they can have other effects on Earth as well. The most noticeable of these is their influence on tides. We all know that the moon's gravity is responsible for the tides in Earth's oceans. During a supermoon, when the moon is closer to Earth, its gravitational pull is slightly stronger. This can result in higher than usual tides, known as perigean spring tides. These enhanced tides aren't typically dangerous, but they can lead to minor coastal flooding in low-lying areas. They can also create stronger currents in the ocean, which is something swimmers and boaters should be aware of. Some people believe that supermoons can trigger natural disasters like earthquakes or volcanic eruptions, but scientists have found no evidence to support this claim. While the moon's gravity does have a small effect on Earth's crust, it's not enough to directly cause geological events. While 2024 is set to be an exciting year for supermoon watchers, the lunar show doesn't stop there. Looking ahead, we can expect more spectacular lunar events in the coming years. One date to mark on your long-term calendar is November 25th, 2034. On this date, we'll experience a supermoon that will be even closer than the one in November 2016, which was the closest in 69 years. This future supermoon promises to be a truly extraordinary sight. But the real lunar event of the century is still to come. On December 6, 2052, we'll witness the closest full supermoon of the 21st century. This supermoon will be an incredible spectacle, appearing larger and brighter than any in our lifetimes. Of course, supermoons aren't the only lunar events to look forward to. Lunar eclipses, where the Earth's shadow falls across the face of the moon, can be just as breathtaking. When a supermoon coincides with a total lunar eclipse, we get what some call a super blood moon, a rare and stunning event. The next time a supermoon will coincide with a total lunar eclipse will be in October 2032. This event will offer skywatchers a unique opportunity to see the supersized moon turn a deep red color as it passes through Earth's shadow. We want to hear from you. Have you ever seen a supermoon before? What are your plans for viewing the supermoons of 2024? Share your thoughts, experiences, and questions in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this cosmic journey, why not join our community of space enthusiasts? Hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all things astronomy and space science. Don't forget to ring the notification bell too, so you never miss an update.